Extreme Collectibles here. I am all in with Prime 1 1/3 scale Batman. What I mean by that is I just went nuts. More nuts than I already am. I like talking about nuts because I only have one. And if you have a Prime 1 1/3 scale Batman piece, you know why. They are all freaking amazing. So I only had one. I had Arkham Knight, and then I ended up getting Flashpoint, and then I have Dark Knight Returns, and I have all of them on order now for multiple reasons, which we're going to talk about because, wow, they just keep getting better and better. So let's dive in and talk about why it gets better and better. Extreme Collectibles here with Prime 1 1/3 scale Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Collector's Edition statue. It's a long title. I notice more and more of these, we get longer and longer titles. So really quick before I forget, let's do dimensions on this. I keep forgetting to do that, but the width 21.5 or so. And again, my dimensions are not specific. If you want specific, go to their website. It's 32 tall, and then depth is 13. They made both collectors and exclusive version, and I can't remember, I think the exclusive version has some batarangs in his left hand. I missed the boat on the exclusive version. Everyone kept saying this is the absolute best Batman statue out there. I have 3 other 1/3 scale ones, and then quite a few more coming. But they have 800 of the exclusive and 1,000 of the collector's edition. Like I said, the difference I believe is the left hand has batarangs. We're going to talk about the switch outs in a second. 100 miles per hour today because I have a lot of reviews to film. And I purchased the collector's edition 4 times. So I went on the waiting list for Sideshow for the collector's edition, and I finally got it, and then I didn't buy it. And I went to Prime 1's website, and I decided to finally pull the trigger. One day after I pulled the trigger, they came out with their economy shipping. So instead of $200, it was $50 to ship. So I reached out to Prime 1. They were very responsive. They said cancel that order and redo a new order. So I went ahead and did it. So that was order number 2. And then order number 3, I purchased him. And then 2 days later, they started their May sale. So instead of him being his retail price of $969, he was either $675. I think he was $675. Just outrageously cheap. So long story short is I was going to pay $1,250 for him, and I ended up getting him for like $750. Brand new from Prime 1. So extremely excited about that. Very stoked. For now, he's going to go actually right behind the camera where my 1/3 pieces are while I continue to work on my 1/3 room. And this is a comic by Frank Miller, and this is Batman, but it is Batman out of retirement, kind of say. He comes back 10 years later, and he's just fed up. Hence the gun, where you traditionally don't see Batman with that. He's kind of, if the criminals are going to play naughty, he's going to play naughty. Naughty, is that the right word? Nice, naughty and nice. But, so a little bit different take on Batman, not the traditional, badass vigilante that won't kill people. This is still a badass vigilante, and he will kill people. And we're going to talk about some of that in the concept and design, but that's a little bit of history on the character. Base is one piece. Batman minus his hands, head, and cape are another piece. All polystone. No mixed media, so very, very cool. Number of switch outs, let's talk about that. So first on this, you have a portrait that's a traditional, what I call an old man portrait, because this is an old man statue. And then the switch out is kind of the beaten one, which is definitely the one I'm going to display at all times because it matches his body. Very, very cool. Roughed up. And then his arms, he has a number of switch outs with his arms, and how I have him displayed right now initially wasn't what I was going to do, but I'm going to stick with it. So first, his left arm, he has kind of a closed fist. And then also you can switch out his left and right arm, kind of like the Batman Hush review I did, where he's holding the Batarang, but these have to go together. And this is a very cheap rope in the middle, and it really turned me off. I will never display him like this because of that. His right arm, he has the rifle that you see with the display. And then he also has an open palm, which I don't like that, because if you have the open palm and the closed palm, it's just Batman standing there, which, you know, he still looks like a badass, but interesting. So buy Prime 1 Collector's Edition. 1,000 of these made, 800 of the exclusive. I can't remember if I said that or not, because as you guys know, I don't really plan what I'm going to say during these reviews. I will sometimes do a little bit of research on the price and the ES, but other than that, I just wing it. I do that with life too, and it's worked pretty well. Not that you needed that extra special glimpse into my life, but concept and design of this. There's some things about this that I think are really, really cool, and some that are just eh. So first of all, I think most of the concept is revolving around the Frank Miller Batman character. Otherwise, it's not really unique. It's the same concept that all the other Batman statues have. It's Batman on top of a building with some type of creature or something on the front of it, which all of them are like this. Even the new ones coming out, like the Batman Damned, you know, which has Joker, which kind of looks like this, which of course I'm getting. But he's sitting there on top of a building of Gotham, obviously. I don't know who this is in front. Someone who's more familiar with the comics probably will know that. It looks like Bebop from Ninja Turtles before he's mutated, but he's standing there, and I really like the pose on him. The concept really shows that he is an older man, he's still buff, and he is torn up, man. He is beat up, and he's tired, and he's sick of criminals. And not only is his suit torn up, but his cape is, which we're going to look at with paint and sculpt. And he is just, he really looks like he doesn't want to be there. And he wants everyone to know that. And I think there's something menacing about that. Kind of like most people at their job, they have that old fart that everyone stays away from because all he does is complain. So he does that. He reminds me of that, except he'll really kill you. Where the old fart just annoying, and you want to beat him up. Where I would not want to beat this guy up. So very cool concept. Design, I am having some issues with the cape sitting in flush. And it came with, I wish I would have brought it over. I've never seen this before, but it came with almost padding strips. And there weren't really directions, but there was a little note on the bag to use where you need to for the seams. So if someone's used those or knows more about those, please comment. But it was really interesting. So otherwise, everything fit really well. One thing I noticed is on his right arm, actually, let me pull it off if I can. So it has a magnetized key screw / peg hole right in here, where the switch outs don't have that. So he has the hole, and I assume they did that because of the weight of the gun, even though it's not very heavy, to make sure there's no way this would fall out. So I almost wonder if it was an afterthought during production and they were having QC issues. So it's on there extremely well. But otherwise, no gaps, no seams, no blemishes. Design is really well done. It's a little too wide. Again, space is kind of our enemy, so I think they could have done, you know, I know his arms are out here, but I wish they would have saved space on the base, but it's a little wider than the other traditional Prime 1 Batman 1/3, other than Hush. Sculpt and design, and this is kind of getting old, to be honest with you. Not sculpt and design, paint. Sculpt and paint. Sculpt and paint, it's kind of getting old with Prime 1. I mean, I could skip this whole section. It's awesome. It's awesome. Prime 1 on these 1/3 pieces. I'm looking at Doomsday, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, Two-Face, Flashpoint, Arkham Knight. They're killing it. Hush Superman, Cyborg, Hush Batman. I can't emphasize that enough. If I knew now what I knew then, I would probably get rid of or just go 1/3. I wish they had the Marvel 1/3 license, but they don't, and Batman is badass. That's another note. So all these Batman reviews I'm doing, I have Batman Throne behind me that I just reviewed the other day before I lost the file, so I have to redo it. Batman is probably one of the... I'm kind of going on a tangent, so we're not talking about paint and sculpt, but Batman is arguably one of the most popular characters in history, and growing up, I never understood. I mean, he has no superpowers. He's rich, and he has lots of cool shit, but that's not cool. But the more and more you get to know the personality of Batman, and dive into it, whether it's from films or comics, the more you appreciate the character and you appreciate the story. And there's a lot of complexities with that. So I've slowly over the last decade really gotten more and more into Batman. Now let's talk about the paint and sculpt. Looking at the bottom of the piece, I know it's really, really popular. I think it's okay. First of all, I want to talk about the texture and layering and the paint on it. It's kind of the same all over. I wish there was some variation in it. I understood why they made it the same, but from the statue of the man on the front to the bricks to where he's standing to the different designs on it, it's all kind of very similar, and to me that makes it boring. I really like the sculpt, so I think there was a missed opportunity on that. However, it looks really good. It doesn't look bad. Prime 1 has such a high level of bar, I'm wishing that, my expectations continue to grow more and more. Kind of with that, Weekend at Bernie's. My old man worked hard. All they did was give him more work. Same thing with people that produce stuff. If you produce great things, they just expect greater things. Anyway, back to the base. On the back, they have the traditional Batman symbol, but it's the Frank Miller Batman logo, which is cool. I love how Prime 1 does that with all their Batmans. But as you see, from the top to the bottom, they have the different colors of black and gray and kind of that brown to show fading and dirt on the building. And some of that dirt is splashed up on his cape, which we're going to look at in a second. So it is a very cool base. To me, I think they just could have done more with it. Moving on to his boots. His boots look okay. I've seen better boots with Prime 1, but they're very true to the character. There's the traditional folds and some cool texturing with the stitching on there. Nothing to write home about. His feet look a little fat to me, but he's an older man. Maybe older men have fat feet. Prime 1 knocked it out of the park with his costume, as they usually do, from the colors on it, that gray and darker gray and black mixed in together. And then the sculpt, it's kind of this skin tight sculpt, and I like how it's not as athletic because he is a little bit older. Kind of reminds me of Rocky Balboa movie, where he's a lot thicker, but he's still in shape. So very true to what the character would look like. And the pants look phenomenal with the folds in them and the seams. And then here you see the rips with his blood below it. And it looks fantastic. I love the glistening effect they put on the blood. So these are all fresh wounds. And right around each of those cuts, there's kind of this faded brown, which is what blood would look like when it was dried up. So really good job. Here you see his package. Looks a little awkward. Almost looks like he's wearing a cup, which at that age he might. But on his outside underwear, some really cool folds. And it's very similar to his boots, but there's not as much texture. His utility pouches here. It's not your traditional utility belt. It doesn't have the clasp in the middle, but really cool pouches here with some awesome faded coloring. You can definitely tell they're very old, so he got them. He's using what he used to use, and he got them out for retirement. The metal buckles look real, and I love the different coloring with the yellow and black they used on it, and the sculpt is just fantastic. Here's his torso, very similar to his pants, his legs, not only with the muscle definition below it, kind of that same theme, but that awesome texture and then some more cuts. And that follows on his biceps, the exact same thing. You can definitely tell it's an older individual, but he's still buffed out. And then the Frank Miller Batman logo looks really, really cool. Kind of that miss in shape, and it has kind of this glistening effect that is somewhat matching his underwear and his cowl, but it's a little bit different. And then looking at his gloves, again, some cool wear in the gloves in just a few spots, but it's very similar to his boots. You can see the seams and the folds, and the color is a tiny bit different. And he has the traditional Batman blades on the side. The gun looks awesome. Really, really lifelike. I think they did a fantastic job on that. It looks like a real rifle. Well done, and the strap is sculpted. It's not mixed media. Let's move to his cape really quick. His cape looks really good. I love sculpted capes when they don't take up too much room, so this is a perfect example of that. There's some cool dynamic sculpt in it to make it look like it's flowing, but it still goes straight down. And then you can see all the tears on the sides and the bottom, and there's those dirt paint flakes that I was talking about that kind of insinuate that it's dirty, just like the base was. Then looking at his portrait, just his bruised portrait, fantastic job on the cowl. You can see where you can still see his expression below it. It's the similar color to his gloves. However, the texture is again a tiny bit different. It's kind of smaller nodules on there. His eyes whited out and there's some black specks in there. Great job on his skin tone and the different cuts. The cuts look real. The paint job and the sculpt on his face here is just absolutely fabulous, and it really adds to the concept of this piece. Fantastic job on his teeth, both the sculpt and the differentiation to the different colors. They're not your pearly whites that sometimes they give Batman. Awesome, awesome job on the portrait. So, is this the best Batman statue out there? No. Is this one of the best? I would say so. It's really, really cool. They have the new one coming out. I will not be getting that. I just don't like, I don't like how big his chest is in the new one. You know, and I don't like the pose with the gun, so I will stick with this one, which I probably should have waited because it'll get even cheap. I don't know, I got it for. That's the other thing. Prime 1 DC pieces don't seem to hold their value, and I don't understand why. Because they're phenomenal. Probably because you have 20 different Batmans to choose from. So I recently reviewed, it may or may not have aired, Flashpoint Batman. That might be the best Batman statue I've seen. It is just really cool. So, but I really appreciate you guys watching. Please give me a like if you liked it. If you disliked it, please give me a dislike. And also subscribe and hit that bell if you haven't. Lots of new reviews coming out all the time. And I'm sure you guys assume this. We got a lot more coming. But with that, I really do appreciate you watching. Let me know which Batman piece you love, especially if it's Prime 1 or if it's a different company. Even Tweeterhead's doing really good. And then obviously Sideshow has some good pieces. That kind of hurt to say, but it's true. So really appreciate you watching. Take care.